Still ahead on the entertainment forecast, it's a Where Is He Now story. Christopher Cross used to be a household name. We find out that he hasn't gone too far when the entertainment forecast continues. Welcome back to the entertainment forecast. All right, this is totally going to date me, but when I was in high school, I loved listening to the Ramones, the Pretenders, Rick James, Parliament Funkadelics, anything George Clinton was doing, and Christopher Cross. That's right, Christopher Cross. Now, there wasn't a bigger musician on the planet when the 70s turned into the 80s, but the music industry went a different direction after the advent of MTV, and by the late 80s, a lot of people had forgotten all about that green album with the pink flamingo on the cover. But as is the case with a lot of those Where Are They Now stories, Christopher Cross never left. With a positive attitude and his head held high, he has kept chugging along.
Depending on how old you are, you might not realize that this unassuming singer is the winner of 5 Grammys, an Oscar, a Golden Globe, and 9 million worldwide album sales. Christopher Cross came out of nowhere in late 79, early 1980 to become one of the most successful artists of the early 80s. Hit songs like Sailing, Ride Like the Wind, Arthur's Theme, and many others were constantly on the radio. His debut album with the pink flamingo on the cover remains one of the most successful debuts in history. Now, 25 years later, Cross is in the XM radio studios of Washington, D.C. On this evening, he'll recreate that album live, track by track, in order for broadcast.
What I'm curious about is if you have the slightest bit of nerves.
No pre-show jitters from this veteran. He's had a quarter of a century to learn the material cold. But did he know what he had on his hands back then?
I mean, was it as obvious to you as it became to the whole record industry that you had just a collection of great hook-laden pop songs that were going to go somewhere?
Well, you know, yes and no. I really was hoping to make an album and sell enough records for Warner Brothers to give me a chance to make a couple more records. And I was really thinking that maybe third album downstream we'd have a radio record, something on the radio. But the first album was really just sort of a dream come true for us, just to make it and have it on a major label. We weren't really expecting anything to happen, you know.
Clearly, rock influenced Cross, and he's got the chops to prove it. He cites the Beatles, Brian Wilson, and Joni Mitchell as influences. But when his debut dropped, it didn't sound like anything else at the time. So where did that sound come from?
You know, I don't know. I think we all sort of steal from each other in this business, and you hopefully pick good people to steal from. All that stuff kind of melts together and sort of comes out in your own way, your own style. I wasn't consciously doing anything. I was just doing what I do. And I also think that my timing was good. You know, disco and sort of the punk era had kind of faded out, and people were looking to kind of, I think, in their hearts and minds to go back to pop. So I think I had some talent, but I think I was very lucky, worked hard, and also was just in the right place at the right time. The big focus is in the control room for the 6 million listeners who are going to be hearing it.
But in other ways, timing went against Cross. When MTV burst on the scene shortly thereafter, the music industry focused more on visuals, less on sound and songwriting. But Cross never stopped writing and recording. His 1997 watershed album, Walking in Avalon, sold a fraction of the copies his earlier albums did, and yet in some ways it was an artistic peak.
The quality of the work's gotten better, and so even though they don't sell, I'm as proud of that record as anything.
And now, more than 25 years later, Christopher Cross plays about 80 dates a year and spends time fathering and mentoring his children, Rain and Madison, each showing great musical promise. But perhaps the greatest challenge for a Where Is He Now musician is the fact that this one never left.
It's very frustrating. I get a lot of interviews that'll say, you know, gee, you had all this meteoric success, you showed 15 minutes of fame, and then things faded out. Is that hard? It was initially hard to adjust to. Certainly, it's been 20 years now, and I have adjusted to it. But looking at it half full, you know, most people in the street, if you ask them, do you know who Christopher Cross is? They'll go, yeah, I did that Sailing tune or something. You know, I at least have that cachet, so I'm very blessed and lucky to have that, because it allows me to talk to you, it allows me to play and make a living for my family and do what I love to do. So I really can't complain. But, you know, it was a great 15 minutes. It was cool to win the Grammys and all that stuff. But I'm enjoying my life a lot now. I've got a great family. I have great friends. The band are great. I play with them. We just have a good time.
Thanks so much, guys. It's a great audience. Thanks so much. Good night.
And the show that was recorded that day in the XM studios will be aired next week on XM Radio. The dates are Monday at 6, Wednesday at 9 a.m. on the 80s XM 8, and then Friday, March 17th on XM 23. That's the hard channel. and iTunes is now carrying his entire music catalog, including a lot of material that had previously been pretty hard to find in stores. We'll be right back.